Okay, so we are discussing about the cycling and we are going with one by one, like data SLY use, data SLY test, list, repeat, resource, template, and data SLY call, data SLY text, and data SLY attribute. So this data SLY use, which we discussed in the Sling models. Now today we are going to discuss about the test. Generally, come here and then you can see here welcome. If I take the false condition, for example 1 equal to some 6, if I save this one, if you can go there and then you can try to hit that page, you cannot able to get anything because you cannot able to get anything. So data SLR test is the attribute. So based on the condition you can take the decisions. That is all about data SLR test. Once you are familiar with the data SLR test, next there is a data SLR list. List meaning normally, for example, I want to store the all the values. For example, like in array, how you can store like string AR equal to all the values you can able to store here. You can able to store all the values like Java, JS, and React JS. So in this case, this is the variable, and it can able to store all the values. Now I want to iterate. All the values will be storing based on the index positions. I want to iterate. I want to retrieve the values one by one. So how we can iterate? There is a concept called data SLY list. Data SLY list. There is a concept called data SLY list. Data SLY list is the custom attribute. With the help of data SLY list, we can able to retrieve all the values which is available in the list. Okay, so for that actually I can have an example so that I can show you. Data SLY list which is used to iterate the list items of collection such as list array, list or array, and render them one by one. Now see this program, all the values like bike, scooter, cycle, all the values which will be stored in one reference variable. This is reference variable, also called as collection. Collection of objects is called group of objects is called collection, right? Data is used to iterate the list of items in a collection such as list or array and render them one by one. Same example I am taking. I'm taking that example and then simply I'm coming to here CRXT, and where I would mention uh, the line, the meaning of 18 is I'm storing bike object, scooter object, and cycle object. The values, these are the string values where actually I stored in that items. So in from that I am iterating one by one. If you want to iterate one by one, then there is a at the rate item, at the rate item. Okay, same thing I can able to copy. I can able to, I can go to my page and then I can able to reload my page. You can able to get bike, scooter, cycle, and all. Bike, scooter, cycle, and all. I hope you guys are clear with right. Data SLY list, which is used to iterate the, items available in the connections collections, and then we can render the values one by one. We can render the values one by one. This is the some sample example. This is the some sample example. So once you are familiar with that one, next we have data SLY repeat. So data SLY repeat. If you see here, iterate the list of items and repeat the markup for each same definition, but it can repeat with the host element, which is used to iterate the list of items in the collection with the host element. That you can say like that. For example, that I can show you the difference. You can able to get the clarity. For example, this is the page. I am switching to preview mode, and then I am inspecting the page. So where I would go, this is my inspecting page. Now I can able to inspect. If you guys clearly see here what is happening. See here, when I go with the data SLY lista, data SLY list, so it is retrieving all the values with LI. But when you go with the data SLY repeat, you guys, can you please see the difference? I'm going to there. Simply I'm changing to repeat up. Simply I'm changing to repeat up. Simply I'm changing to repeat, and come to here, reload the page. If you can, now you can inspect the page and go to there. uh, if you can see here, previous case only we have only one UL, but if you see, for every list tag it is having with host tag. So that is the difference between data as a list and repeat. So you can practice, then at the time of practice you can able to get data as a list and repeat. Next, after this, data SLY resource. Data SLY resource, which is used to include one resource into the another resource. For example, if you want to call one component into the another component, then there is a annotation called data SLY resource. Data SLY resource. For example, so this is the sample code, and simply I am coming to here, and then where actually I would paste here. This component name is the digital, right? In that digital, I want to call other component where I can go. There is a June component, right? Yes. Data coming from the June component. Okay, this is okay, fine. Now I want to include this component in digital component. How could I do? That you can do by using data SLY resource. So resource name, resource type, the type name, where actually it is our component name is June, right? Can able to mention June, and here you can able to mention component, and here you can give the path of that component. Click on that. This is the component you have to give. Save this one and go to there and reload that one. See here, the data is coming from the June component. So when you go to that, so where it is the entire component digital. So in that, June component is available. How I included that one? I included using data SLY resource. Next, there is a one more attribute we have, data SLY resource, guys. Data SLY include. Data SLY include which is used to include one file into the another file. One file into the another file, which is used to include one file into the another. For example, so simply I am copying this statement. I want to create one more file anywhere. So that file I want to include here. So how could I do that one? That we can do data SLY include. I can take file of any one. For example, here I would like to create one more file. Create and file and first dot HTML, and where I can mention data coming from the first dot HTML file. This is the some message which I am returning. That file name I want to, from there to here I want to render. So that also can do by using data SLY include. First simply you can save this one, and then now you can go to N and reload the page. Data SLY include. Normally you can able to get uh, data SLY include first dot HTML, right? Data SLY include first dot HTML. Come to here. Paste the SLY include. Generally, you can able to get data SLY include equal to first dot HTML. Save this one. Include. I can check everything is matters. Reload the page. Check the content. Data SLY include, where this is present. Generally, you can able to get one file into the another file by using of data SLY include. You can check like you can give the file path. So if you see here, they provide you the file path. Here also can able to give the file path, so which is available here, and you can copy from there. You can able to give the file path here. So this is how generally we have the custom attributes. You can reload and then you can try to fetch some data. You can see here. So generally, the purpose of data SLY include, which is used to fetch the data from another file, which is used to inject one file into the another file. By using, there is a attribute called data SLY. These are the annotations which we will use, like data SLY use, test, list, repeat, resource, include, and all. So after this, there are some annotations and all. There are some custom attributes and all we have, like data SLY template and all. So generally, data SLY template meaning template level. If you want to pass any values, then you can use data SLY template. And if you want to call the template, then you can use data as a call. These are the some attributes we have. So generally that there is a one document as well that also can check with that, like Sidely Imran. So simply, if you can come to this blog, so there actually the code will be there, and you can directly take the code from there. Also, you can try to understand what is the purpose of each one. So these are the differences. These are the differences which we have. Okay. These are the custom attributes, guys. Custom attributes also called as block statements. Block statements in AEM, and the block statements are nothing but these are the block statements. These are the block statements. So while writing the backend, we will use these block statements and all. Data server use, data server test, data server list, repeat, resource, and these are the important attributes. These are the important attributes. Okay, so when you have the spare time, you can go with the blocks and all. You can check with that, and then you have to do the practice. You have to do the practice. Okay, so after that, which I open the syllables. Next, these all are the backend topics. Backend topics we covered almost. We covered Sling models is the Sling API, which is one of the RESTful web framework which is created inside the AEM architecture, which is used to map the request to resource. And how many ways you can register the servlet? There are two ways to register the servlet. There are how many ways you can adapt the Sling models? There are two ways to adapt the Sling models. One is the resource class. The second one is the Sling HTTP servlet request class. And what are the important annotations we have, which we have in the Sling models? Important annotations which we have at the rate model, at the rate name, at the rate inject, at the rate OGA, and these are the some important annotations which we used in the Sling models. Okay, and uh, we used HTL as well, and we render the values as well. Next, OGA component and service. OGA component service. We discussed about why what is OGA and what is service, and we discussed about bundle lifecycle. We discussed about what is the difference between package and bundle, and what is OGA configurations. What are the R7 annotations? These are all the things which we covered in the OGA. And after the OGA, we discussed about the client libs. Client libs are the designs which will be fill and look to the website. And in the client libs, we have there are four important properties. One is categories. Second one is allow proxy, dependencies, and embed. Categories is the property which is used to identify the client libs. Allow proxy is the property which is used to hide the actual path of the client lib. Dependency is the property which we can one client lib can we can load another client library as a single call, and embed is the property like multiple client libraries you can load into as the single call. This is all about client libs. Next we discussed about servlets. Servlets are the classes which will have the methods like init, service method, and destroy method, which will take the parameters, process the parameters, return the response. We can register the servlet in two ways: path-based servlet and resource-based servlet. Path-based servlet path is hard-coded, and we are going with the resource-based servlet. And we can fetch the data by using extend of class sling all method servlet and sling safe method servlet. After the servlet, we discussed about the schedulers. Schedulers is the piece of code which is used to run at regular intervals based on the cron expression. In that cron expression, we can mention the time intervals, and we can override the runnable interface, and we can implement the runnable interface, and we can override the run method, and we can implement the logic, and we can deploy the scheduler, and then we can start using the scheduler. That is all about schedulers, which we discussed about how we can implement the schedulers and all that we discussed about the schedulers. Next, event handler and event listener. They both are coming from two different APIs. Event listener is coming from the Sling level. Event handler is coming from the Sling level. Event listener is coming from the GCR level. And what is workflow? Workflow is the content approval, and once the content gets approval, it will send an email to the all team members, where if you have the multiple steps are like participant step, process step, participant step where we can give the approval, and process step where we can give the input to the workflow. Templates are the blueprint for the page, blueprint model, okay, blueprint model for the page. Without template, we cannot create the pages. And creating pages, templates are mandatory. And in the template level, there are three sections, three modes we have to familiar. That is structure, initial, and layout. Structure meaning all components are locked. All components are unlocked. It will not maintain any dynamic relation with already created pages. And there is a layout mode which we can organize all the to create the content, and that can be used across multiple pages wherever we use content fragments. And next after that, next uh, experience fragment. Experience fragment also are called reusable content unit, and where actually all the common content we can kept inside the experience fragment, like headers, footers, and all. And we can create the content at one time, and then that content we can reuse multiple times by using experience fragments. Next, debugging. Debugging is the tool where actually you can uh, understand the each line execution flow by using debugging. Every programmer should know about the debugging. So this debugging, which we discussed, like how to create the logger files, how to do the debug, okay. So these are the topic which we discussed in the I thought day before session, yesterday before session, okay. Next we discussed about the J units. The J units, we discussed about what is unit testing, what is J units, what is Mockito, and what is code coverage. These are the four scenarios which we discussed in the last session. Okay, so this is the syllabus, guys. And next we have some query builder also we discussed, right? Which is used to search the content which is available in the repository. And there are two ways to search the content. One is query builder API. Second one is the SQL2, where you can check the SQL2. There actually we have the tools, and in that we have the SQL2 query. Here you can change to SQL2. So last session, whatever the predicates we have, same predicates you can give, and then you can execute, and it can fetch the results, and that results it can able to store. So compared to which one is the recommended, if you have the aware of SQL2, then you can directly do on by using SQL2. If not aware, you can go with the query builder. Two approaches is to search the content available in the repository. Next, if I go with the yeah, this is, I hope these all the topics are completed, right? Anyone have any issues in this? Like the syllabus which we shared in the starting of that, I hope we covered almost all the syllabus apart from these four, remaining all the syllabus which we covered, right? Yeah, I hope remaining all the syllabus I covered. So today you guys, you can do the assignments on Sitely, and then you can upload in the portal, and you can complete the syllabus this